Okay, let's dive in. We're doing a deep dive today, cracking open a fascinating source, a video recap from Google's recent developer conference, Google I/O.
Absolutely. And our mission today is to take your source material, the key announcements and demos from that video, and really unpack the most important, exciting, maybe even a few surprising insights about Google's latest AI stuff.
Yeah, like a shortcut to getting up to speed.
Exactly. Think of it that way. A shortcut to being well-informed about what Google just showed the world.
Right, and the context Google said is, well, it's pretty striking. They're clearly stating they're fully in their Gemini era, and they say they're shipping faster than ever. Just since the last I/O, apparently they've put out over a dozen new models and research breakthroughs and launched over 20 major AI products and features.
That pace is just, well, it's incredible. And the sheer scale they mentioned really tells the story, doesn't it?
Speaking of scale, yeah, there's a number right at the top that just jumps out.
Yeah.
The processing power. Last year, they were processing, 9.7 trillion tokens a month.
Right. Across their products and APIs.
And now, they're up to 480 trillion monthly tokens.
Wow. Just sit with that for a second.
It's huge.
That's a 50x increase in processed tokens in just 1 year.
It's 50 times.
What's fascinating here is that this isn't just some, technical spec. It implies a truly massive jump in the scale and the speed at which AI is actually being adopted, like really used in the real world.
So more tokens processed means AI is running.
In significantly more places, for significantly more people. Yeah.
Right. It powerfully underscores their whole theme, making more intelligence available for everyone, everywhere. They seem to believe the world is adopting AI faster than ever.
It feels like it. Like this is a very real new phase of the AI platform shift.
Yeah.
And as we often say, knowledge is most valuable when it's understood and applied, right? So we're going to explore how this rapid progress in models and infrastructure is actually showing up, how it's transforming their products, and giving us some really strong hints about where the future AI is heading, especially for you, the listener.
Okay, sounds good. So let's start with the foundation then, the models themselves and the infrastructure powering all of this. The video you shared talks a lot about rapid model progress, specifically with Gemini 2.5 Pro. They've mentioned it sweeping leaderboards like ELO Marina up over 300 points since the first Gemini Pro came out.
Right, and those ELO scores and benchmarks, they're kind of like standardized tests for AI models.
Okay.
So when a model sweeps them, it signifies real improvements in its core capabilities, things like reasoning, understanding, general intelligence, compared to other models out there.
And it's not just general smarts, right? For coding, the updated 2.5 Pro is apparently #1 on WebD Arena, beat the previous version by 142 ELO points.
Which is a big jump in coding ability.
Yeah. And what's really interesting is they highlighted it being the fastest growing model on Cursor, actually producing hundreds of thousands of lines of accepted code per minute.
Accepted code, yeah. That's a huge deal for developers using these tools. And then there's the slightly more unusual benchmark they cited.
Oh, you mean the fun fact about Gemini completing Pokemon Blue?
Yes, that one. Earning all 8 badges, traveling Victory Road, defeating the Elite Four and the Champion, the whole thing.
That's wild.
It might sound a bit trivial, maybe funny, but it's actually a pretty clear sign of increasingly complex problem solving, what we call agentic capabilities.
Even in game.
Especially in a game context like that. It shows the model can understand goals, it can plan steps, and it can execute them over a really long sequence. That's not easy.
Huh. That's amazing. And yeah, a little bit hilarious. But none of this performance leap, whether it's coding or catching Pokemon, happens out of nowhere, right? The video really emphasized the underlying infrastructure.
Absolutely. Their custom hardware. They talked about their new 7th generation TPU called Ironwood.
Ironwood. Okay, sounds solid.
It is.
Yeah.
This is hardware specifically designed for thinking and inference at scale.
Inference meaning running the models, not training them.
Exactly. Running them after they've been trained, which is what happens when you actually use AI in a product. They reported a 10x performance increase over the previous generation.
10 times?
Yeah, packing an immense amount of compute power, 42.5 exaflops per part.
Exaflops. Okay, that's just a massive number measuring processing power.
It is. It indicates just a huge capacity for putting AI to work for everyone, everywhere.
And they connected this hardware strength directly to being able to offer faster models, but with lower prices. They feel they're overcoming that hard trade-off between price and performance.
Which is absolutely critical if you want to make AI broadly accessible, right? You need both.
Makes sense.
They also mentioned the new Gemini 2.5 Flash model, highlighting its efficiency, speed, low cost, noting that it's becoming generally available now.
Okay, flash for speed and cost.
And then there's Gemini Diffusion, which is an experimental text diffusion model.
Diffusion, like for generating text.
Kind of, yeah. Think of diffusion models as learning to generate data, like text or images, by gradually denoising random noise. This new one, they say, is 5x faster than even their previous cutting-edge 2.0 flashlight model for text generation.
5 times faster, while keeping up performance.
While matching coding performance, apparently.
Yes. So they're not just making the models smarter, but also faster and cheaper pretty much across the board. And it's all powered by that serious infrastructure upgrade, Ironwood.
That seems to be the core message there, yeah.
Okay, so now let's move from the core research and hardware to how this stuff is actually showing up, how it's transforming their products. The video you shared gives some pretty compelling examples, starting with Project Starline and this new Google Beam platform.
Right, Beam. It's essentially the next step for Project Starline, which they've been working on for a while. The aim is to transform standard 2D video calls into something much more realistic, almost like a 3D presence.
It looked pretty wild in the demo, using, what, 6 cameras?
Mm-hmm.
And AI to capture you from different angles?
Right. Merge those streams and render it on a special 3D light field display with, they claim, near-perfect head tracking.
So the why behind Beam is?
It's about creating a more natural, deeply immersive conversational experience. They're really aiming for the feeling of being in the same room with the other person, even if you're miles apart.
And they're collaborating with HP on this.
Yeah, to bring this to early customers later this year, it's not quite mainstream yet.
But they did point out that the underlying Starline tech is actually already being integrated into products you might use now, like Google Meet.
Yeah.
For real-time speech translation.
Yes, exactly. That's a direct application of this presence research finding its way into existing tools. The demo they showed, booking a vacation rental in South America.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
It really illustrated the potential, didn't it? Real-time translation that not only gets the words right, but also tries to match the speaker's tone, maybe even their facial expressions.
So a much more natural conversation across languages.
That's the goal, a free-flowing conversation. And this feature is rolling out now in Google Meet for subscribers and enterprises.
Okay. Next up was Project Astra. They described this as exploring the future of a truly universal AI assistant, one that can understand the world around you just by looking at it through your camera.
Yeah, Astra. It's envisioned as a proactive assistant. It understands context, it sees what you see through your device's camera, and it can engage in natural conversation about it, all in real time.
And they said Gemini Live is bringing some of Astra's key capabilities, like the camera and screen sharing, to products right now.
That's right. Gemini Live integrates these live, see what you see capabilities, and it's rolling out free on Android and iOS starting today.
They shared some rather, let's call them optimistic examples from the early testing demos, didn't they? Like Gemini misidentifying a garbage truck as a convertible.
Or a street light as a building, a utility box as a package, even a shadow as someone following you.
Okay, maybe not quite perfect yet.
No, but they had a bit of fun with it, noting that Gemini's pretty good at telling you when you're wrong, even if it's the AI that's wrong initially.
Huh. Good to know it's got a sense of humor, or at least its creators do. But seriously, they mentioned you'll be able to connect Gemini Live with other apps you use, like Calendar, Maps, Keep, Tasks.
Right, which is a really significant step. The assistant won't just see your physical world, it can also interact with your digital life, understand your schedule, your notes, your tasks.
So it moves beyond just answering questions to being a truly proactive helper that understands your context across different domains.
Exactly, which naturally leads into the next thing they discussed, Project Mariner.
Mariner. That was described as an agent, right?
Right.
Something that interacts with the web and gets things done for you.
Precisely, an agent. They talked about its evolution now handling multitasking, doing up to 10 simultaneous tasks at once.
10 tasks at once.
Wow, and this teach and repeat feature, where you can literally show it a task once, and it learns a plan to perform similar tasks in the future.
Okay, that sounds useful.
This is a key example of the concept of agents gaining traction. These are systems that combine the AI model's intelligence with access to tools like browsers, apps, APIs, to actually take actions on your behalf.
So using the computer for you, essentially.
Computer use, interacting with websites and apps, that's a core agentic capability they're building. They mentioned developer access via the Gemini API and things like the Agento protocol and the Model Context Protocol, or MCP.
Protocols.
Yep.
So standards for agents to talk to each other.
Basically, yeah. Standardized ways for different AI agents and tools to understand and talk to each other, hopefully enabling a whole ecosystem of agent capabilities down the line.
And they're bringing Mariner's getting things done capabilities directly to users via agent mode in the
Yep.
Gemini app.
Correct. The invertment hunting demo they showed was a perfect illustration of this.
Right, instead of you manually scrolling.
Exactly. Instead of you doing all the clicking and filtering, Agent Mode uses Mariner to find listings matching your criteria, automatically adjust filters based on maybe a conversation you have with it, access listing details via that MCP protocol, schedule tours, and even keep browsing for new listings in the background while you do other things.
Which they framed as freeing you up to do other stuff like, I don't know, actually pack or plan the housewarming party.
Right. This experimental version is coming soon to subscribers. It really feels like AI is moving from just giving you information to actually doing things for you.
It's a big shift.
It is. It's definitely an emerging area, and this experimental rollout is all about exploring the best ways to bring the practical benefits of these agents to users safely and effectively, and fostering that broader ecosystem.
This focus on bringing the AI's intelligence into your life also ties really strongly into personalization, doesn't it? The video emphasized making AI truly useful in your own reality.
Yes, using what they call personal context.
Personal context.
Which means, and this is key, with your explicit permission, the Gemini models can use relevant context from across your Google Apps privately, transparently, and totally under your control.
Okay, permission-based.
Absolutely. The ultimate goal here is to make the AI assistant truly yours. Learning your preferences, understanding your ongoing projects, remembering important details about your life so it can be genuinely helpful.
The example they showed in Gmail for personalized smart replies was really striking, I thought.
It was quite powerful, wasn't it?
Yeah, instead of just generic, bland replies, Gemini accesses your notes, emails, docs, like that Utah road trip itinerary maybe you have in a Keep Note,
Right.
and uses that context to generate replies that not only match your typical tone and word choices, but also include specific details from your life and your plans.
That demo really drove it home. The AI pulled in details like your preference for keeping driving time under 5 hours a day, and it even picked up on and used the user's favorite adjective, which was exciting in that case.
That's pretty specific. It is. This personalized smart reply feature is coming to Gmail for subscribers this summer, and you can immediately see the potential for this kind of personal context across search, docs, the Gemini app itself, pretty much everywhere.
It goes right back to that core idea you mentioned. Knowledge is most valuable when understood and applied. By letting the AI understand your knowledge and context, it becomes significantly more useful specifically to you.
Precisely. It tailors the intelligence.
Okay, let's shift a bit and talk about pushing the absolute frontiers of AI itself. The video mentioned continued fundamental research towards artificial general intelligence, or AGI.
Right, this is where they get into the really bleeding edge stuff. They introduced the idea of extending Gemini towards becoming a world model.
A world model, that sounds ambitious, like simulating aspects of the world, making plans, imagining experiences.
That's the core concept, yeah.
They mentioned past work like AlphaGo, AlphaZero, and the Genie 2 model for generating 3D environments as steps in this direction.
Exactly. Building an internal representation or model of the world, much like perhaps how the human brain does it, so the AI can understand, predict, and interact with the world more effectively. They connected this to the intuitive physics seen in their VO video model, showing it understands basic things like gravity, how light works, how different materials behave when they interact.
So the AI isn't just pattern matching, it's building some understanding of how things work.
That's the goal. They also mentioned Gemini Robotics, a specialized version of the model fine-tuned specifically to teach robots useful things and help them adjust to new tasks they haven't seen before.
It really feels like this kind of fundamental research is a critical step towards that ultimate big picture vision for the Gemini app. An AI that's truly personal, proactive, super powerful, and helpful in everyday life. All on the road towards AGI.
It seems to be. And on that path, they're also pushing the limits of current performance with something new they announced called DeepThink.
DeepThink. A new mode for Gemini 2.5 Pro, right? They said it uses cutting-edge thinking and reasoning research. And it's achieving impressive scores on really tough benchmarks like USA 2025 for math and Live Code Bench for coding.
Right. DeepThink is actually inspired by their work on AlphaGo, the Go-playing AI.
Okay, how so?
The basic idea is that giving the model more time and sort of more computational steps to think before producing a response can dramatically improve the quality and accuracy of its reasoning, especially for complex problems.
More thinking time equals better answers. Makes sense.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's currently available just for trusted testers while they conduct extensive safety evaluations. They really emphasize that safety and responsibility are critical parts of developing these powerful capabilities as they pursue AGI.
Good to hear. Okay, now let's shift gears to something absolutely foundational for Google. Search. They described search as the product embodying their whole mission, organizing the world's information. And they say Gemini models are making search more intelligent, more agentic, and more personalized.
Search is where AI meets the sheer vastness of the web and the world's information at an immense scale. It's a huge application area. They highlighted the success of AI overviews first.
Right, those AI summaries at the top of results.
Exactly. They're now scaled to over 1.5 billion users monthly in over 200 countries.
And driving real growth, like over 10% growth in certain query types in major markets.
Oh.
Plus, really boosting visual searches in Google Lens, up 65% year over year, with over 100 billion visual searches this year alone.
Those are huge numbers, showing real user engagement and impact. They said AI overviews built on Gemini models are the fastest in the industry. And crucially, user feedback is positive. Users are happier, they search more often, and importantly, they're asking more complex questions because the AI can actually handle them now.
And building on that success, they introduced AI mode. They call this the next big step for search, even a total reimagining.
A pretty bold claim.
Yeah. It's built on Gemini 2.5 and designed to tackle any question you throw at it. They're already seeing users asking much longer, harder questions, like 2-3 times the length of traditional queries. And this is a big one. It's rolling out to everyone in the US starting today.
Okay, AI mode. This is where you really see those agentic and reasoning capabilities we talked about earlier being integrated directly into the search experience. The core power, they explained, comes from a technique they call query fan-out.
Query fan-out. Okay, sounds intense. What is it?
It is pretty intense conceptually. When you ask a complex question in AI mode, search uses Gemini to instantly break it down into multiple subtopics. Then it issues a whole multitude of simultaneous queries way deeper and broader than traditional search ever could.
Right?
It taps across the web, but also their real-time data sets like the knowledge graph, the shopping graph, local data. It synthesizes all that information, checks its work, and can even issue more searches if needed to refine the answer.
All from just one search you type in.
All from a single query, remarkably quickly, that's the claim.
Wow. That sounds incredibly powerful, like having a whole research team working on your question instantly. They then detailed a whole bunch of new capabilities coming to AI mode and search labs, leveraging this power.
Yeah, quite a few. Starting with personal context, similar to what we discussed with the Gemini app.
So search using your other Google data with permission.
Exactly. Based on your past search activity, like maybe restaurant bookings you looked up, or gallery newsletters you get, or opted-in data from other Google apps like flight or hotel confirmations from Gmail, AI mode can provide truly personalized suggestions.
Like what?
For example, knowing you prefer outdoor seating at restaurants, or suggesting local art exhibits or event ideas near your hotel based on your travel plans it sees in your email.
Okay, making search truly tailored to your specific life and needs. Again, under your control. Then they showed deep research.
Right. This uses that query fan-out capability, but like multiplied, issuing dozens or even hundreds of searches automatically to create what they called an expert-level, fully cited report in just minutes. It's framed as a powerful engine for web discovery, helping you find more relevant content and build a deeper understanding of a complex topic much faster.
Then there was complex analysis and visualization. The baseball demo was pretty cool.
Yeah. Asking for really detailed stats, batting average, OBP, home runs for players using specific kinds of bats, like those torpedo bats. And AI mode didn't just list the stats, it dynamically generated tables and graphs right there in the search results.
That's coming this summer for sports and financial questions, they said.
Right. Moving beyond just text answers to rich, interactive data visualizations directly within search.
And the agentic capabilities we discussed with Mariner, the idea of AI taking actions that's coming to search as well.
Exactly, helping you get things done right from the search results page. The ticket finding demo showed search analyzing real-time pricing and inventory across multiple sites for a specific game, filling out forms, and linking you directly to checkout.
So it finds the ticket and helps you buy it.
That's the idea. They mentioned tasks like finding event tickets, booking restaurant reservations, and local service appointments coming soon.
It's not just information about how to book something. It's actually helping you do the booking.
Okay. And then there was Search Live,
Yeah.
bringing Project Astra's live multimodality using your phone's camera into search.
This demo was really neat, I thought. It's like hopping on a video call with Search, as they put it.
Right.
Using your camera, Search can see what you see in the real world and give you real-time help. They showed demos like identifying steps needed for a science experiment, like that elephant toothpaste thing.
Yeah. Or helping you fix a broken remote, or figuring out how to get a stain out by visually assessing the situation.
It's a huge leap, potentially.
Yeah.
Interacting with Search, using your camera for help with real-world tasks, hands-free.
They also talked about how AI is transforming intelligent shopping within search.
Right, combining web information, real-time data from their shopping graph, which apparently has over 50 billion listings now.
50 billion. And visual inspiration from Google Images. The rug demo showed search understanding your preferences, like finding a rug for a living room with a light gray couch.
Okay, standard search.
But then refining it based on real-world context you provide, like mentioning you have active kids. So it recommends durable materials like low-pile or washable rugs, and even points out specific things to consider when you're shopping for that situation.
More helpful context. And a completely new feature they showed for shopping virtual try-on.
Yes. This looked very cool, being able to virtually try on clothes, like a dress, using your own photo.
How does that work?
They explained the tech behind it. It's a custom image generation model trained specifically for fashion, combined with advanced 3D shape understanding. So it shows how the material folds, stretches, and drapes on your unique body shape, not just on some generic pre-captured model.
That sounds much better. Available in Search Labs starting today, they said.
That's right.
And finally, agentic checkout, kind of building on those shopping capabilities.
Yeah, taking it a step further, tracking the price of an item you're interested in, getting notified when the price drops.
Okay, price tracking is useful.
And then using an agent to actually add it to your cart and purchase it with a single tap via Google Pay. They said that's rolling out in the coming months.
So, wow,
Yeah.
search is really being transformed from just finding information into being this powerful, intelligent agent that helps you analyze data, make decisions, get things done, interact with the real world via your camera, and even shop more intelligently.
Exactly. AI mode and AI overviews, all powered by Gemini 2.5, seem poised to fundamentally change the search experience, making AI a powerful engine for discovery and action across the web and increasingly integrated into your life.
Okay, moving into the creative space now. The video highlighted how generative media tools are expanding creativity in new ways. They mentioned the Music AI Sandbox and Lyria 2 for high-fidelity music generation.
Right, available for enterprises, YouTube creators, and musicians. And they stressed working closely with the artistic community, like their collaboration with musicians such as Shankar Mahadevan on tools like Lyria 2.
That seems important.
It's crucial, I think, ensuring these powerful creative tools are developed collaboratively. They also briefly mentioned their ongoing work on SynthID for watermarking AI-generated content.
Oh yeah, the watermarking.
And a new detector for identifying it, emphasizing responsibility in this rapidly evolving space. They said they've already watermarked over 10 billion pieces of AI-generated content.
10 billion.
Okay.
Then they unveiled Z3, their new state-of-the-art video model.
V3, yes.
They noted improved visual quality and a stronger understanding of physics in the generated video.
Yeah.
But the key leap seemed to be native audio generation.
That's the big news there. It can now generate sound effects, background sounds, and even dialogue right alongside the video it creates.
The demo with the wise old owl and the nervous young badger was pretty impressive because of that.
It really was. V3 generated not just the visuals, but the actual dialogue, the voices, and the ambient forest sounds. And that clip with the guy on the boat showed really photorealistic generation, emotion, realistic mouth movement synced to audio, plus the sounds of the ocean, all generated.
They mentioned collaborating with filmmakers, too, like Darren Aronofsky and Eliza McNitz, using V3 in films like Sestera to combine live-action footage with AI-generated video for things like, I don't know, cosmic events or microscopic worlds.
Right, which opens up entirely new storytelling possibilities. It gives filmmakers incredible control over character and scene consistency, precise camera instructions, letting them bring cinematic visions to life that might have been impossible or just prohibitively expensive before.
And building on this V3 model, they introduced Flow, a brand new AI filmmaking tool.
Right, Flow. It combines V3, Imagine, their image model, and Gemini. And it's explicitly described as built for creatives by creatives.
Designed to foster that feeling of being in the creative zone, they said.
The demo showed building a scene by uploading ingredients, like an image of an old man, a car, then generating specific images like a gold gear shift, using Imagine, assembling clips with simple text prompts and camera controls.
Maintaining consistency even when adding something new, like that chicken that suddenly appeared in the car.
Exactly. And the ability to easily trim or extend clips, it looked quite fluid.
Filmmakers who've used Flow described it in really evocative terms, didn't they? Like the work is almost coming to life on their own, or it blooms like a spontaneous garden, feeling like they're not forcing it, just finding it.
That feeling of creative flow is clearly the goal with this tool, which powerfully illustrates their aim, putting incredibly sophisticated creative tools directly into the hands of creators in a way that feels intuitive and collaborative, not just technical.
Finally, on the product side, they briefly mentioned updated Google AI subscription plans. There's the global Google AI Pro.
With higher rate limits and the Pro features in the Gemini app.
And a new Google AI Ultra tier. Ultra is described as being for trailblazers.
Right, US first for now. It offers the highest rate limits, the earliest access to new features, like that Pro Deep Think mode when it's ready, and access to Flow with V3. Plus some bundled perks like YouTube Premium and extra storage.
Okay, so a premium tier for the earliest adopters and heaviest users.
Got it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about AI moving into the physical world now in a really direct way, beyond just your phone screen. This is the Android and XR section.
Right. They discussed bringing AI to the broader Android ecosystem, things like watches, cars, TVs. But the major announcement here was Android XR.
XR, extended reality.
Exactly. The first Android platform built specifically in this Gemini era, designed to support both immersive headsets and lightweight glasses. They're collaborating with Samsung and Qualcomm on this foundational platform.
The vision here seems to be kind of different devices for different uses, right?
That's right. Immersive headsets for things like gaming, movies, maybe focused work, and then these lightweight glasses for more timely information and assistance on the go throughout your day.
And the AI assistant Gemini plays a key role.
A central role. Understanding your context and intent in much richer ways, specifically tailored to what you're doing on these different devices, whether it's a headset or glasses.
They showed Gemini running on headsets first, with Samsung's Project Muhan. It looked like it created an infinite screen experience.
Yeah, letting you explore apps in this huge immersive space. The demo examples included things like teleporting anywhere in the world with Google Maps and XR, or watching an MLB game from the front row while chatting with Gemini about player stats.
Muhan is expected later this year, they said.
Right. Framing the headset experience as this immersive space for exploration and contextual assistance, giving you entirely new ways to interact with information and entertainment.
But the real showstopper, the thing that felt like a glimpse into the immediate future, really seemed to be Gemini on glasses, the Android XR glasses.
Agreed. They describe them as lightweight, designed for all-day wear, with a camera, microphones, speakers.
So they can see and hear the world.
Right. And listen to the AI, music, calls, plus an optional in-lens display for private information, working with your phone for app access, but primarily hands-free interaction.
They framed it as a really natural form factor for AI, didn't they?
Yeah.
Bringing Gemini power right to where you are, like having superpowers when you put your glasses on.
That was the line, yeah. It's positioned as a constant, maybe subtle layer of helpful information and interaction woven into daily life, all hands-free.
And they showed that backstage I/O demo with Nisha, which really highlighted the practical everyday uses.
That was quite compelling.
Seeing her coffee and getting texts overlaid, silencing notifications with just a glance, identifying a band from a photo on the wall and instantly playing their song.
Navigating to a coffee shop with heads-up directions and that 3D map overlay, booking a coffee meeting just by talking to the glasses.
Taking a photo just by looking at something, adding it to favorites.
Yeah.
And the live translation demo between Hindi and Farsi just happening in real time through the glasses.
She even used them as a personal teleprompter at one point. That demo really brought the vision to life, didn't it? The ability to search what you see, remember details, book events, navigate, translate conversations, capture moments, all naturally, without constantly needing to pull out your phone.
Yeah, it felt less intrusive somehow.
And they emphasized working with actual eyewear partners like Gentle Monster and Warby Parker. That's crucial, I think, to ensure these devices are actually stylish and wearable, things people want to wear, not just functional tech gadgets. Developer access is coming later this year.
Definitely key for adoption. Okay, finally, the video touched on how AI is being applied for broader societal benefit. They mentioned FireSat.
Yes, FireSat, a constellation of satellites using multispectral imagery and AI for near real-time insights into wildfires.
They said it can detect fires as small as 270 square feet, and the goal is much faster updates.
Dramatic speed improvement, aiming for imagery updates every 20 minutes, which is a huge leap down from the current 12 hours or so. Speed and precision are just absolutely critical in responding effectively to wildfires.
Makes sense. And AI-supported drone deliveries during emergencies, like they piloted during Hurricane Helen Wing.
Yeah, in partnership with Walmart and the Red Cross, delivering critical items to people based on real-time needs and logistics that are assessed by AI, helping get the right things to the right places quickly in a disaster.
So these examples show how the foundational AI research and infrastructure we talked about way back at the start.
Exactly. They're already becoming reality today to help society in concrete ways. It's not just about some distant future promise. They also connected these current steps back to the broader potential they're pursuing, AGI, world models, saying these advancements accelerate possibilities for things like helpful robots, new disease treatments, maybe breakthroughs in quantum computing, autonomous vehicles.
Suggesting these things could be possible within not decades, but years, which is pretty bold.
It is bold. The speaker even shared that personal anecdote about riding in a Waymo autonomous vehicle with his elderly father and seeing his amazement, just as a reminder of technology's power to inspire and, well, awe us sometimes.
Wow. What an incredible deep dive that was, just going through the key points from that Google I/O video you shared. We've journeyed from the core models and infrastructure, that mind-bending 50x token increase.
Yeah, that number still sticks with me.
Right. Through transformed products like Search, Gemini, and that futuristic-feeling Beam platform, we looked at new creative frontiers opened up by V3 and Flow, explored the emerging world of Android XR glasses and headsets, and touched on how AI is already being applied for societal good. The sheer scale of the progress and the speed of adoption they described are truly undeniable.
It's clear the vision they presented is one where AI becomes deeply personal, proactively helpful, incredibly powerful, and integrated throughout our everyday lives, while also accelerating scientific discovery and enabling entirely new forms of human creativity. The scale of the opportunity is just immense, as is the responsibility, frankly, that comes with building this future.
It's really exciting to think about what you, our listener, might do or think about based on everything we've unpacked in this deep dive into the source material.
Indeed. And as you consider all these rapid advancements we've discussed today, from these agentic capabilities that can act on your behalf, to personalized AI that really understands your context, to these first steps towards world models, here's maybe a question to ponder. Given what you've heard, what fundamental shift do you think will have the single biggest impact on how you interact with computers or technology in the next year?
Something to definitely chew on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Keep exploring that source material and thinking about the implications.